All right, as promised, I would do a cooking segment. And since I don't have a whole lot of food in my kitchen these days, I'm just going to cook what I have from last night, which is the steak. First step, get the steak out. Second step, realize your kitchen is nasty, so you have to clean it. All right, now that that's done, let's cook this steak. So I think from from what I had last night, which was steak and potatoes, I'm probably just going to eat that again. I think I might have a can of beans. 1 second. They won? Nice. Wait, who won? Nice. So the Packers have won the game, apparently, according to my roommate. They were slated to lose, so now Aaron Rodgers will come back and potentially be the quarterback for the rest of the season, and they could win. See what happens on that front. For now, I found corn, leftover mashed potatoes, and this steak, of course. I'm gonna leave it out, let it get a little bit room temperature rather than refrigerator. So when you cook it, I prefer it to not be super cold in the middle. So if I get a room temperature, I can quickly sear both sides, and you have an amazing steak. So for the mashed potato, we have to have a beer. Pots and pans. Pots and pans. All right, pots and pans. So one thing that I've learned over the years of cooking for myself, you need to learn timing more than anything. And if you throw the steak on first and foremost, and then you start cooking the potatoes and the corn, you're gonna have a steak. If you let it cook that long, we probably shouldn't be friends, but that's a whole nother story. If the steak goes first, you'll end up cooking it pretty quickly, and then you'll have all your extras sitting there cooking. They'll take a while. Fortunately, we're using canned corn and reheated mashed potatoes, so this shouldn't take too long, but we'll get them going first. And I want to use a bigger pan. When I've reheated mashed potatoes, if you just throw it directly in there, terrible. Throw them in with a little bit of milk. So that way, as they heat up, they won't just start burning inside the pan. You'll actually get a little bit of juices in there, even a little bit of water. Because the water is going to evaporate for sure when you heat it up. I like to throw a plate on the stove to throw my utensils on so that way it doesn't dirty it up, because you always want to keep your kitchen clean, otherwise it's a really good way to get sick really quickly. Now for the steak. Steak is pretty simple. I prefer the best way is just to burn the shit out of it. Some people like to marinate it with a bunch of different seasoning, but who marinates a steak? The best seasoning for a steak, seasoning you don't actually put on it, you put it on the pan itself. So we're going to, aside from turning the heat up on our corn so it cooks a little bit faster. So my stomach's banging, man. I'm hungry now, and I decided to cook after I got hungry. Well, actually, I decided to put all this stuff up and then cook. Don't ask me. It doesn't make any sense. My stomach is the one that took over. It's like, oh, we need to eat. And my mind was like, oh, no, but let's make a cooking section for our friends who are watching my show. So the cool thing about potatoes and corn is they cook quickly when it's reheating. Cans of corn, I mean, you're looking at 2 to 5 minutes, maybe 7 tops. And then your mashed potatoes, same kind of thing. Once you put the milk and the water in them, it usually takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes for that to be ready. I don't like to turn the heat up too high. As you can see, once the corn gets boiling, you turn the heat down real low. The same thing for the mashed potatoes. once you get the pan hot and they start to heat up and get mushy again, I just put a lid on the pot and just leave it there, and let it kind of heat itself on low temperature, because you don't want to burn it. Now for the steak. Now for steak, of course, like I said, there's a lot of different ways to cook a steak, but to me there's only one, and that's to crank up the heat as high as you can on a pan and sear it quickly on both sides and eat it rare. Step one on this process is to cut off a little piece of fat and just eat it. So I'm turning my pan up. I'm going to take a picture of my phone so you can kind of see where I'm at. Once again, you turn the pan up to full and then put some salt in the pan. That's all I have. Now, I don't like using, don't actually grind the salt. Just do like this. Put a couple rocks on there. Spread it around. And then I do a small grind like that. Just a little bit. Then you wait. The pan is ready when smoke starts coming out of it. And then you take a little piece of fat, throw it on there. It'll give you an idea of kind of where your heat is at. You want it to be as hot as possible, and so way you can sear the outside of the steak on both sides, maybe a minute and a half on both. It's going to get real smoky in here, so we got to open up the window. You see what happens if you let it go too long? It'll burn a little bit. Always keep your eye on your food. With leftovers, as soon as it's hot and ready to go, turn the heat off and just keep the lids on there. It'll be hot enough for you to eat later. I wish I could show you. I'm not going to move any cameras, but you look up real close on this, you're starting to see the steam coming off it. Once again, get your little piece of fat. See how it's barely sizzling? To me, that tells me it's not ready yet. I want it to be like burning, completely, nearly lighting this piece of fat on fire. So we'll take it off, separate our salt. Oh, no, it's steaming. That's good. Yeah, buddy. Kick the little piece of fat over on the side. And then, this is my best part, my favorite part. The steak is a little bit cold to the touch. I'm not a fan of it when it's like that, personally. And we'll see what happens. I pulled this out of the fridge, probably not early enough. But last time we did this, brought it straight from the meat market, walking around in New York City, bringing it home. And by the time we got home, it was I don't want to say room temperature, but it was still cool, but not cold. You want it to be relatively not cold. All right, here we go. Now, if you watch the clock up here, you can give it about a minute and a half, maybe a minute and 10. Now, to me, cooking steak is a smell thing, not just the timing or any sort of science behind it. It's all about smell to me, and I just want that smell of raw meat burning. So when it begins to smell like it's burning, that's about the time to flip it. If you want it to be rare, of course, you can cook it longer if you want, but I would never suggest that. Just really not. Just don't. Just don't. It's gone about a minute 15, minute 20. All right, time to flip this puppy over. If you've done it right, it should be burnt like this. Now, I can tell you, you don't want to cook it much longer than that. Once you get too much burning going on in this area, it's not enough. But when you get just the surface, then a couple burn marks, that to me is the best. What you're going to have is the surface of this is seared. The inside is still going to be raw, but not cold anymore. I'm watering. Once again, got another minute or so. You can see it's burnt on both sides. And that is the mother of all steak. Ah! Well, and that's how I cook a steak. Now for the best part. We eat it. And drink a beer with it. Hey Jesse, you want a piece of steak? Oh, look at that. Oh my God. It's just too good.
I'll have a steak.
You want a piece of steak?
Sure.
Everybody, this is Jesse Piper. Here, no, I'll take this piece right here.
Let's take this one.
All right. This is Jesse Piper. He knows about steak. He's from Wisconsin. They know about steak. They're like Texans in that way.
Really good.
Say hi. It's over there.
Yo.
Prime time, man. Prime time. This is one of my favorite parts right here, and then this part in the middle, and this part over here. It's the good stuff. And this eye. Oh, God. It's all just good. You want some more? Grab. Huh?
I said, oh.
You want some more? I'll give you some more. You can help me eat this whole steak. It was expensive, but it was good. Worth it. I'm so hungry. I'm like shaking. Get a plate.
Thank you.
Always share with your friends.